Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 9 here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, we survived the fall and made it through winter, and we are back on the farm here now in early spring. It is March 2nd, a little after 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are here to do some hoeing contracts. And you can take a look and see we have a few of them to do, but those are the only contracts that are available right now. So we have our Deutsch set up here ready to go. But before we get into that, I need to bring you up to speed on a couple things here. And they are all across the road. So let's run across here and have a look. Now, I did buy a pipe that we can use to take out of our bins with, and luckily that came up used, only cost us $4,000, and we needed it to unload our excess corn, and I'll update you more on that when we actually get in the field. And I did get our lime production moved down here. I just hired a picker truck, and they pretty much were able to pick that up and throw it on a flat deck and bring it down. So that worked out rather nicely. I just had to wait till it was empty first. But now it has some product in it because we did some stone picking. But all the exciting news is in here. So, after we finished the harvest, I did buy out the harvester. So that is now ours. And that's the only piece of leased equipment that I actually bought out. I returned everything else. So our money is sitting at $690,000. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. And I've just been saving that through the winter because we are going to buy some farmable land. The only thing I did spend money on was this here. This cedar came up, and it was too good to pass up. It was on sale for 40% off, only had 8 hours on it. So we are going to need that because we're going to buy our first piece of property. So I did snag that, and I upgraded our, Class Carrot trailer to this Red Rock trailer. It has twice the capacity, and the rock picker will still dump into it, so that really helps on rock picking contracts, not so many back and forth trips. Now, I still haven't rectified the family vehicle situation. We still currently only have the truck. Turned out we really didn't need to do anything about that because fall we were all working together, and then of course winter hit and there was nothing to do, so there was no need to spend the money. So that's still something I have to do. But a little birdie told me, a little birdie named Matt, that this field here is going to come up for sale. So it hasn't even been listed yet, but we're waiting for that to come up, and we are going to jump on it right away when it does come up for sale. And that's going to cost us, Matt says it'll probably be in the $400,000 range he would expect. So that's why I've been sitting on the money. Now, our only issue is, yes, we've got the planter and we got a deal on that, but we don't have the horsepower to pull that planter. We're quite a bit short. So I have been watching the used list to see if something would come up, but you know, it'd be a long shot if something came up in our price range. But the those hoeing contracts will definitely help out anyway. Now, this may turn out to be a little bit shorter episode. Like I said, we're going to go and do that hoeing contract, or contracts, I should say. But I'll do a lot of that work off camera. But I am going to pause here because I am waiting for an update to the map for precision farming. I do want to get that installed, and I want to do it before we purchase this field and do any work to it. So we're going to do an update, and I'm got lots more to tell you about that I'll do when we're in the tractor. But I don't want to put precision farming on until the map update is released, and it is coming hopefully fairly soon. I've been checking every day, but if it's too long a wait, there may be a couple New Frontier episodes while we wait. So I'm going to jump in the Deutz here, and I'm going to head to our first field, because I think that's everything here. Yeah, there was nothing new in here. Oh, the only other thing I did buy out the lease on the fertilizer spreaders tucked in there, so that is now ours. All right, so I'm going to head to the field, and then I'll tell you more about the financial side of what happened last fall in the field while we're doing some hoeing. So I'll catch up with you there. Well, there we are. We are hoeing here in field 15. There's that handsome devil in there running the Deutz. And so while he works on that, we'll just get a good position here. Let's update you on some of the activities that went on last fall. Now, if you watched last episode, you saw we had a number of contracts that we had accepted, basically a contract on virtually every field of some description. Well, we did all that and a few more. So I kept track of what we did. Now, I'm not going to read out all the individual amounts for each field. What I have here is the grand total. So for plowing, for example, was $417,000 worth of plowing we did, and we plowed the following fields: 21, 2, 12, 3, 15, 1, 4, 7, 11, 17. You can tell they're just kind of in arbitrary order. That's basically the order they popped up and that I wrote them down in. So that was 400 grand or a little over. Then we did cultivating, and that was $79,000, and that was 10, 9, 14, 8, and 16. Then we did $102,000 worth of baling on fields 15, 16, 6, and 7. And then harvesting, we did $174,500, and that was on fields 1, 11, 14, 17, 21, and 8. Only 2 of those harvests were corn, all the rest were soybean. And interestingly enough, we did end up with some leftover corn. We'll talk about that in a second, but no leftover soybean, or so little it wasn't worth storing. I just sold it off. It was just like only 200 liters or something like that was all that's left. So wasn't a lot left over there. Now, stone picking, we did do some of those stone picking contracts, and I kind of highlighted that they had started coming in, and we did field 6 and 7, and then field 15, and actually that's the big sucker we're on right now. That one was 78,000 by itself, so it was 93,500. So that's all the work that we did in November. And we also were able to purchase the harvester out, and that costs us, well, to buy it out, it cost us like over 400, just over 401,000. The initial cost when we leased it was 430, but we got some of that money back. But the harvester currently has almost 9 hours, so 9 real hours it took to do that harvest. But how that worked was there was no cheating, well, unless you consider using Courseplay and AutoDrive cheating to get that work done. So what it was, harvest took 3 of the family members, someone to harvest, someone to cart, and someone in the truck. And so that left one individual to go and work on these other contracts. And so that is what happened. And none of them actually happened in parallel. Well, actually, they couldn't because we were out of tractors. Well, I guess technically we could have on the baling because we had the 7810 that can run the round baler. But we only have the John Deere and the Deutz now with any significant amount of horsepower. So all of those plowing, cultivating, baling, and 2 stone picking contracts all happened in the first 3 days. It took us 3 days to harvest. And it turned out I was pleasantly surprised. They weren't particularly long days. We actually got rained out the first day at 9 p.m. So that was we went from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. So I guess that was a pretty long day. I did start every day at 6 o'clock. We went to about 8 o'clock the next night, and it was just a convenient place to stop. 7:38 we were done harvest, and then the last harvest we were done on day 3 at about seems to me it was about 5-6 o'clock, something like that. So there was a little bit of time left that I got to work on some of these other contracts. Now uh, the 2 stone picking ones on 6 and 7, actually if we look at the map, oh, 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 oh. Oh, okay. I don't know if you see what I see, but uh, we'll talk about that in just a second. We were talking stone picking. 6 and 7 were this field here, this long skinny one, and 7 here, fairly close to the farm. And at that time, the lime station was still here. So I just delivered those because I didn't have a tractor or, well, technically I had a tractor. I didn't have a person available to cart for me. So I just took and dumped the stones in there. Then on the last day, day 4 of the month, we did the stone picking on this field here, and that took all day. And now we didn't start as early. I think it was only about 7:30, something like that. But it was after supper when after supper time when we got done, and so we didn't take on anything more. Now, there were more stone contracts available, and we'll address those in just a second. But first, the elephant in the room here. I know this is cotton, so there's cotton going in here. This is, like I said, March. This is sugar beets. Yes, there was a mod that originally a required mod for this map that I believe it's one of its purposes was to prevent that kind of thing from happening. But there was an issue with one of the Giants updates, and it messed up the textures. So there was a workaround for it. But I guess it's allowed all the crops to be planted now. I did read that in addition to precision farming, there's some other fixes to the map, and maybe that's what it is. But we are definitely going to have to fix that up one way or another. Let's go back here for a second. Let's open up Power Tools. I thought there was a I thought there was an addition. Oh, well, that's okay. Oops, saved. Maybe we need to be standing in the field. I'm getting run over here. Let's open that up again. Yeah, field options. So I'll likely, when the time comes, oops, what was that? I'll just use that and I'll put corn and soybeans in these fields. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Let's jump back in here so we can enjoy the view. I guess we wouldn't be weeding if there wasn't crop in here. I never even thought of that. So now I'll write down all these field numbers, and we won't do any weeding or hoeing type contracts on them again. So we're not double dipping on the contract side. But what I'll do is once next month rolls around and corn and soybeans can be planted, I'll use power tools and just put corn and soybeans in these fields. If it isn't one thing, it's another. Oh, and a big shout out here too before I leave this subject of course play and auto drive and harvesting. I got a hand on getting that set up with Farmer Mike, so it's a good resource for if you're looking for information on that. I'll include a link below to his channel, but I encourage you to go check him out if you're looking for help with those types of issues, and check out his other content as well. It's very entertaining. Anyways, back on to where we were here. So that takes care of the month of November. Yeah, we talked about the stone picking, and I was pretty pleased with our equipment that we currently have. We could get all that volume of work done, because when we own the whole map, we're not just going to buy it, we're going to at least run it for one season. And of course, we'll have bigger equipment than we currently have, but we'll have to do every operation on the field. We obviously didn't do every operation there, but precision farming will help too with some of that. So we got some more stone picking contracts. They had rolled over from November. So we did then 149K worth, and that was on field 60, or sorry, that was 66K. It was field 4, 3, 7, 12, and 11 for 149K, and we did that in November. It was also November when that planter showed up, and we picked that up for 41% off for 136K. Then there were no December contracts, no January contracts, and January is when we sold the corn. We had 60K of corn left over from the harvest, and we sold that for 30,000. So there's the financial update. So that brings you up to speed. That's how we made like over $1 million in the fall. We have 690,000 right now, and we bought a $400,000 harvester. And of course, we've had to pay some lease fees and buy fuel and that sort of thing. Now, I have been looking for some horsepower to bring into the farm, and boy, we had real good luck with the planter, but I've been looking for, if we go and look in here, I've been hoping either well, preferably the tracked 8R is what I'd really like to have, or the wheeled 8R. And then I have some mods of 8R mods in. None of those have come in. Not that we could actually really afford to buy them out now. They'd probably eat up all our money. But what has come in is this 9R has come up 3 times over almost every month it comes in. But it's just well, still pretty pricey, and just more tractor than we need. But I think that gets you up to speed here. So I'll quit yakking for a little while, and we'll just watch this process for a bit more, and we'll call it an episode then. And like I said, I just really wanted to bring you in and let you know that if there's a bit of a pause or there's 2 new Frontier episodes and nothing on here, it's because I'm waiting for the map update. And I will do these contracts. I guess I've already got accepted them, got them started, so I'll do that and finish them. But like I said, I'll make sure to make a note of them and make so we don't do them again. And maybe when the precision farming update comes, it'll take care of the cotton and sugar beet, because we definitely don't want that in these fields. So, but hey, I'll quit yakking. I'll let you listen to the machine for a little bit, and then we'll call it an episode there. Oh, one other thing I just remembered I was going to mention. I said you would see a picture-in-picture of the baling going on. And obviously, if you watched the previous episode, you know I figured out the picture-in-picture and that worked well. The reason you didn't see the baling is I realized when I went to do the editing that I had the Deutz being used 2 places at once. And so I figured, well, that didn't going to work very well. I should have used the John Deere for the baling, because I was had set it up so that it was taking a look at what Sam was doing while he was baling, and yeah, couldn't be using the Deutz and on the baler and the grain cart both at the same time. Not that I guess it would have been a big deal, but that's why I didn't do it. I had a little bit of a minor panic attack during editing and said, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That doesn't work. So that's what happened there. I suppose I could have thrown it up and you could have watched it because it was past history while this was going on. You could have seen it as well. But I think I might have had the frame in too close for it to be of any decent size. So um, I'll pick it up someplace, or we'll just show some baling with that new baler at another time. A very good angle there with the sun. Well, we'll finish off with a little in-cab work here. Hopefully you didn't find the episode too boring, but I didn't want to leave it too long before we did update 2 on all of the financial side of the fall. But that's why I did that while there was tractor work going on to offset the boredom of it. But I just wanted you to realize so everybody knew where the money came from. So we'll finish these up, and like I said, we'll hold here till the precision update comes out from the map, and then we'll carry on. And it will be exciting times because we'll have our first field, a whole bunch of new work to do on the farm, and we'll have a new tractor of some sort, likely leased, but we'll have to have a new machine by then. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.